All right guys, Cody Meyer here. Hey, Evergreen International Pro. We're here talking topwater and especially a buzz bait called the Loud Buzz. And one look at this thing, you're gonna see how big this blade is and how loud this bait truly is. And you know, when I'm throwing a topwater, you know, your anticipation level is absolutely amazing. You're waiting for those huge blowups, and this is a bait that's definitely gonna get it. A couple key features with the Loud Buzz here. You know, because of the blade size, you know, when you're throwing this bait, you're gonna be able to work it really slow. So some buzz baits, when you're throwing up there, you get to a key piece of structure, you have to wind that bait so fast for this thing to work properly, and you're gonna miss some of those opportunities. This is a bait, you can fish it really slow. It's gonna be extremely loud, you know, and it actually, when you're coming over that structure, the bait's gonna be in that strike zone more. Really cool. Couple things, so you're gonna see this head design here. You know, a lot of buzz baits are just rounded or don't have a lot of features. This is gonna have that keel design on the bottom. So this thing's gonna always go straight through the water column. It's not gonna be off to the left, off to the right. This is a really key feature to have that thing going straight through the water column. Helps you get a lot more bites. It's gonna be a hand-tied skirt. That's very important when you're skipping it up under a tree or you get a couple bites in a row. You're not gonna pull the skirt down. You know, another thing that I love about this is gonna have a little keeper here. So you pick your favorite trailer. It's not gonna come off. It's gonna be held in place. And you notice how far back this hook is. So when fish come up on different buzz baits, they tend to miss that a lot. You sometimes get the blade in there and they bite down and get the blade and not the hook. With the Loud Buzz, it's gonna be so far back, they're gonna come up. You're gonna have a really good hookup ratio. This thing comes in some great fish catching colors. They're all gonna be 3/8 of an ounce, so really cool. And with this blade here, you notice how they have the little bead on top, so when you're winding that thing over grass, you can see this bead's gonna help keep grass and other things, maybe whatever's on top of the water, off this blade, less likely to snag up, less likely to foul this bait up, resulting in more heart-throbbing explosions. And this has definitely been one of my favorite topwater baits. So let's get out on the water right now and throw this, and let me show you how I fish the Evergreen Loud Buzz. You know, when I'm fishing a buzz bait, it's always gonna be shallow. You know, it's gonna be around some shallow structure, you know, some wood or grass or riprap. And when I like to throw this buzz bait, like I say, you're ready for some big explosions and big bass. You know, it's extremely easy to throw, and all I'm gonna do is find the structure I'm fishing, cast it out there, stop the bait before it hits the water, and slowly wind this bait back in. And you know, a quick tip, when you get that blow up, you get that explosion, just give it about a second. You know, maybe just go 1001 and go ahead and set the hook. You know, what I see a lot of guys making the mistake of is, for one, casting out there, not stopping the spool, getting a backlash, and then as soon as they hear or see that blow up, they set the hook and they pull that buzz bait away. So just give it the old 1001, go ahead and set the hook. Like I say, it's easy to fish, it's gonna catch you fish, it's a timeless bait, and the name of the game for this is throw it in the structure, around the structure. You wanna be fishing this thing, you know, where these fish live. So don't overwork the bait. All you have to do is wind it in, just so that blade is spinning and that bait is staying up above the surface. Cast it out, wind it in, catch some big ones. It's one of the best baits to throw as a bass fisherman. And this thing is definitely gonna get you hooked on throwing topwater and catching some big bass. So when it comes to the Loud Buzz, one of the most important things is gonna be the line, and I always use a braided line. So when you make a long cast with this topwater, it's gonna bite that fish, and you wanna have a solid hook set. And because it's a topwater, single hook, bigger hook, you're gonna be able to set the hook and wind those big bass in. I like a 50-pound braided line. This is a Daiwa J braid. This is grand. This is a very smooth 8-strand weave braid. Casts really good, and it's very quiet as well coming through these guides. Just a solid line to throw with a topwater, and that's what I use for this Loud Buzz. As far as the reel here, so I always like a higher gear ratio reel. 7-1 is what I prefer, up to an 8-1. Throwing this on a 7-1 right now. This is a Daiwa Tatula SV103. I like the SV spool, especially when you get a little bit of wind going on. The SV here, it has a T-wing system in there with the MagForce Z system. Be able to make a very long cast with that T-wing. You can adjust on the fly as well with the MagForce Z, depending on conditions when you're throwing this buzzbait. As far as the rod, this is a Daiwa Tatula Elite. This is actually a 7.2 universal rod by Randy Howell. And why I like this, it's a little bit softer of a rod. You don't want to go too stiff when you're throwing a buzzbait. Why? You make a cast, a big one comes up. If you feel that fish too quick, you tend to set the hook too fast, miss those fish, and actually pull that buzzbait away. So I like a little bit softer rod. This is a medium heavy. Again, it's 7 foot, 2 inches long. You get a long distance out of this rod and this reel. And the braided line, again, guys, is absolute must. So that's what I throw the Evergreen Loud Buzz with. Again, you want to get some of those big blowups, big bass, throw a bait that's just amazing to throw that catches a lot of fish as well. Make sure you guys check it out. Again, Evergreen Loud Buzz, and it's available right now at tacklewarehouse.com.